reigning, defending, undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Rowdy Ronda Rousey!
Okay, family, I just had to do a video about the Ronda Rousey, and in fact, just to celebrate women UFC fighters and women MMA fighters around the world, because this sport is fantastic. It's adrenaline, it's full of power, these athletes are sick, and Ronda is just one of many. However, she is the best. She's the best in the game right now. And with her loss this last weekend, of course, people are disputing that left and right. However, as a fan, and as a fan of Holly Holm as well, Ronda, still a champion in my head. And it's not even just because she's so goddamn likable, because she is, and she has, like, every celebrity in her corner, but there's something about her raw realness that I really connect with. When she goes on interviews, people ask her, how do you get ready for a fight? She's like, I don't get ready, I'm always ready. She's always in fight mode. She gets the game, man. I really, really like the fact that she doesn't kiss ass to kiss ass. She doesn't play the game. She says, no, I'm the best fighter in the world, and if you want to challenge me, come do it, but that's the only way you're going to get to say that you're the best. So right now, I guess technically, our Miss Holly Holmes can say that she is the best. However, you know they'll have a rematch. Although, side note, if I were Holly, I'd be like, what, I need a rematch to prove that I beat this bitch? I'd be like, no, I beat this bitch, right? So congrats to you, Holly, but I wanted to make a video specifically for Miss Rousey because she is such an inspiration, and it really just isn't how badass she is, but it's about how she's presenting herself to the world. And there was the controversial 2011 win against Sarah D'Aleo. However, that was totally a Ronda Rousey win, because if you rewatch it and go back to 2011 interviews where Sarah was talking after the match, it does very much seem like she tapped out. I know right after the match she said she hadn't, she was just kind of stuttering some words, but both fighters were told in the locker room prior to the fight that if you speak, that's going to be taken as a sign of submission, so Ronda did nothing wrong. And you can see Ronda in the background jumping up and saying, let's go again. So literally, she's won all of her fights. But I did kind of want to give you all, who may not be as huge into MMA or UFC, or just female fighting in general, some statistics and background about Ronda so you can appreciate her as much as I do. Even if you're not huge into the fighting scene, she has a really cool career to keep an eye on. So, Rowdy, as they like to call her, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, born in February of '87, so she's 28 years old. So young, this is insane. But back in 2004, she was 17 and qualified as the youngest judo competitor in Olympic history, and she took home gold the same year at the World Judo Junior Championship held in Hungary. That's pretty impressive. 17 years old and she already earned gold? That's nuts. Fast forward to 2008, again, Ronda at the Olympic Games. However, she lost her quarterfinal match against Edith Botch, who's basically a tank. You should look it up if you can on YouTube. She did lose that. However, she qualified to go in the roster as a bronze competitor, won, and then became the only American to ever leave the Olympic Games medaling in judo since its introduction to the Olympics in 1992. Ronda is the one and only American to hold a medal in that. That's sick. So, after the Olympics, she decided to make her MMA fighting debut in August of 2010, where within 23 seconds, she was able to force her opponent into submission via armbar. This is kind of where she gets her name, Arm Collector, because honestly, she doesn't play around with this armbar thing. Seriously, second fight, November 2010, again, she was up against Autumn Richardson, and in 53 seconds flat, armbar, submission, done. Then, third fight in January of 2011, she went up against Taylor Strafford, where in 24 seconds was able to get a defeat with submission and ending her amateur career with the MMA. She then went on to pro, leaving her with an amateur record of 3-0, never defeated, and she has a record of defeating all opponents within under 2 minutes. That's her combined. All of her fights amateur were under 2 minutes. Granted, it's only 3, but that's insane, you guys. Like, this girl is sick. She is an athlete at heart. And it's really kind of frustrating, honestly, to watch the internet blow up just because she lost, calling her out, saying that she's not the best female athlete, she's not the best female MMA, that it was all advertising, that money was pumped up and made her seem like the best, or that it was all a gimmick and they threw the fight. All of this weirdness, I really, honestly, just from keeping track of Ronda and her career, think that she's a genuine person, full of heart, she cares about this sport, she wants to do well, she's a great fighter. And honestly, I think she just lost. And that happens. Every athlete has to lose. She's lost before. It's okay. She's going to move past it. The hardest part for her with this one is probably that it's so public. I mean, she got off the plane and there were paparazzi waiting at LAX just to get a photo of her for losing. I mean, that's got to be a hard thing to come home to, you know? But she'll be fine. She'll come back and she's going to go back in and attack. If Holly Holmes gives her a rematch, that will be the fight to watch. Like, honestly, that I can't imagine the intensity they're going to put into that fight. But to Holly's credit, does she need a rematch? I mean, she won. She won fair and square. So congrats to you, Holly. But Ronda, you already know, you're the best. You have proved it many times over, and you don't have to prove it to anyone else. If you choose to get back in the ring with Holly, awesome. I have a feeling you will. If you don't, who cares? It was one fight. It's not your career. She's showing girls these amazing characteristics that, honestly, all athletes carry. But it's so hard to exude that without coming off cocky, and I think Ronda has figured it out. You just cannot buy into the bullshit. I think she's such a good example because she doesn't kiss everybody's ass to be loved and accepted. She doesn't feel the need to look like a fucking Barbie doll just because, you know, men want to have a boner when they're watching a fight on TV. And she's also just doing things her own way and being unashamed of how good she is. She's admitting that she's the world's best fighter right now. And honestly, when you only have one loss under your belt, in my eyes, you're still one of the world's best fighters. Honestly, all of these women who compete in this UFC division, honestly, shout out to my love, Gina Carano. I mean, she was my favorite. She was my Ronda Rousey before Ronda Rousey was Ronda Rousey. You know what I mean? Like, Gina Carano, look her up. She has some amazing statistics. She was also an undefeated fighter up until the end of her run. And then at the end, she had that one loss with Christian Cyborg Justino. But just the one. She was 7-1. So also an amazing fighter. Gina is just, she's dreamy. I mean, she's beautiful. She's polite. A lot of you probably know her now as an actress. She's been in many things. She had her own movie, Haywire, which was sick. The stunts in there were incredible. And then she's doing a couple of other things, and one thing I'm kind of excited to see her in is the Deadpool movie with Ryan Reynolds. Now, sidebar on my sidebar, okay? Can you get enough, right? But the only thing I will say is that's the only downer is something like what happened with Gina Carano. She's had so many problems with her contracts. I know the industry switched owners. She kind of was a free agent for a while. I'm not really sure what happened with her contracts. There's been many fights that were announced that then pulled and Gina was never a part of, so I'm not really sure what's going on with her there. I thought she still had 4 fights that she had to complete due to her contract obligations. However, maybe they figured a way out of that. I don't know. But just because I miss her so much as the fighter Gina Carano, I'm a little bummed that she went the acting route because she's better than that. Not saying anything bad about actresses, but she's this passionate athlete, and I feel like her talent is being wasted on, you know, guys buying into a gimmick and writing her in as, ooh, we can have Barbie dolls slay some badasses with machine guns, right? Like, I feel like she's gonna become a gimmick, and it just sucks because she's such a talent. Gina, if you see this, you are the best. And honestly, when is a Gina Carano Ronda Rousey fight going to happen? It was supposed to happen December of 2014. You guys, that would be like watching two badass women, just true to the sport, go head to head. I want these two to be best friends. Is that sick? Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. People giving Ronda Rousey shit because she didn't tap gloves with Holly Holm. I got such a problem with how people want to criticize everybody for how they do everything. I mean, they want to criticize her for how she started the fight, how she did the fight, how she ended the fight, and now how she's acting after the fight. Bitch couldn't have done anything right. I mean, if she would have won, they would have been like, oh, what'd she do? What'd she do to win? Holly Holmes was undefeated too, blah, blah, blah. Like, all of this stuff is kind of a little obnoxious. It's like, she didn't throw the fight. You couldn't pay Ronda enough to throw a fight. And honestly, this fight specific, when it's this spotlighted, I don't buy into any of that. I think she honestly lost. I think congrats, Holly. And honestly, just a message out there for Gina Carano, get back in this shit. You're missed. God damn it. Alright. Anyway, alright, I hope you guys love this video. I wore this in honor of Ronda. Take the loss with pride. You earned that fucking loss. You worked hard for that. I think, honestly, if Ronda would have stuck to her going guns blazing, quick, quick, quick. I mean, Ronda's known for not giving up. She just attacks like a pit bull. And leading up to this fight, after the Betch Karehi, I don't remember that girl's name. She was nuts. But after that fight, a lot of people in interviews were telling Ronda, like, hey, maybe ease up, don't go in so fast. Stay back, watch what the fighter's gonna do, and in all honesty, this was one of the longest Ronda Rousey fights I have ever watched. I wonder if her sitting back and kind of taking that advice got in her head a little bit. Maybe she should have just attacked out the gate. Who knows? Don't think about it twice like you're watching my video. Anyway, this sport is amazing. Check it out if you're interested, and if you're not, at least check out one YouTube video of either Gina Carano or Ronda Rousey, because those two women are two women who could kick your ass. Okay? Alright, well, I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. Mine, pretty rainy and dreary, if I do say so myself, but hey, those days are fabulous too. We are in a drought, hashtag 2016 wetlands, y'all. Alright, well, take care of yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.